Good morning, one and all present here. I welcome all the participants on behalf of our management, Saint Matrasa Engineering College, and I also welcome Dr. V. Saravanan, HOD, Tyagaraja College of Engineering. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. V. Saravanan. Dr. V. Saravanan obtained his bachelor degree in the field of electrical and electronics engineering from Madurai Kamaraj University in the year of 1990. And he also obtained his master degree in the field of power system engineering in the year of 1994 from Madurai Kamaraj University. He also obtained his doctoral degree from Madurai Kamaraj University in the year of 2007 in the field of energy management. He also published more than 15 international research papers in the field of energy management. He attended and presented paper in the international conference organized by Wells University, United Kingdom. He has conducted 63 numbers of detailed energy audit studies in various types of industry across India. He was an approved energy auditor by Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, Chennai. I humbly request the participants to take him as a role model and gain knowledge from him. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. V. Saravanan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Riyan sir, for your introduction. It gives me a great pleasure to be with your audience to make my presentation on the topic of smart meter technology. Today's topic will be smart meter technology. Myself, professor and energy consultant from Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai. At the outset, I would like to thank Saint Mother Teresa Engineering College management and faculty members for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts with you. I also thank the participants for the webinar. And the content of the presentation is Introduction to Energy Meters, Smart Metering Evolution, an overview of hardware used in the smart meters, and communication infrastructure and protocol used in smart meters, and how this smart meter will be used for demand side integration in the utilities. And this is a small introduction about the history of energy meter development. Edison started the first electric company, Edison Electric Company, in 1980s at Pearl Street of America. The energy meter was introduced in 1872. The first spinning disk energy meter was introduced in 1989, and after 100 years, 1980, the solid state meters are developed, and the 1990s first automated meter reading type energy meter is introduced, and 2009 onwards smart meters with two-way communications are developed. This 2009 and after meters are called as a original smart meter or AMI meters, advanced metering infrastructure. And coming to this evolution of energy meter technology, the first developed meters is mechanical meters. This works with the principles of the motor. Electric power supply will drive this. Typically, we call a word burden. A meter, a mechanical type energy meter will consume 20 to 100 watts depending upon the size. The typical power consumption by the meter alone will be 100 watts. So to minimize that, we switch over to electromechanical meters. Presently, the most popular in majority of the place will be the electromechanical meters. These electromechanical meters consume around 5 to 20 watts of energy depending upon the size. A smaller one may consume 5 watts, a larger one will consume 20 watts. And the electronic meter is the latest one. Still, we use a larger number of electronic meters in some of the electricity board, which consume around 5 watts. The power consumption by a electronic meter will be only around 5 watts. And we will move on to the nature of the power system. This is a typical load curve of a power system. This is a typical load curve of a power system. The base load of a power system will be met with the help of nuclear power plant and a coal power plant. The base load of any power system will be met with the help of nuclear power plant and coal power plant. We have some of the run of river hydroelectric power plant, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. This run of river power plant also used as a base load power plant. Whereas these are peak loads. These are peak loads. This may be a morning peak load. This will be the evening peak load. The peak load, we try to meet this peak load with the help of the gas turbine power plant or a diesel power plant or a hydroelectric power plant. The hydroelectric power plant we have a very limited generation. So obviously, some of the case even a coal power plant will be used to meet our peak load demand. Even a coal power plant will be used to meet the peak load power demand. This is the scenario happening in India. And the biggest problem in the power system will be the peak loads. The peak loads will occur during peak summer as well as peak winter. During peak summer as well as peak winter. Uh, the ultimate objective of a smart grid will be to minimize the peak load. The ultimate objective of this, the peak load is the biggest headache for the power system. This leads to frequency deviation as well as voltage deviation. So the ultimate objective is we try to curtail the peak loads. That is an objective. How it will be facilitated with the help of smart meter, we are going to discuss for another hour. And this is a load curve of a domestic power supply. During night time, the load will be very small. In the morning, we start using our electrical gadgets. So there will be a morning peak. Again, after 9 o'clock, it start reducing trend. And in the evening, it will reach as another peak load, normally called as the evening peak. This is the highest peak. Again, night time it start decreasing. Night time it start decreasing. This is the nature of domestic electric load. And if you see the Indian power supply system, 30% of our demand is due to domestic. 30% of the power demand is due to domestic demand. And domestic demand, the peak load is the very biggest issues. And coming to this, uh, what is an objective of electricity tariff? Uh, if you see a power plant, for the installation, typically we need thermal power plant requires 7.5 crore per megawatt. For 1 gigawatt capacity, I may require 7,500 crores. This is only for the power plant alone. For transmitting and distribution, I need another 7,500 crore to transmit and distribute 1 gigawatt of power. For totally, what will happen? 1 megawatt power generation, transmission, and distribution, the investment requirement will be around 15,000 crore. So, the capital I have invested, and apart from that, I will spend fuel for my power plant operation and maintenance. These costs I have to recover in the form of tariff. And apart from that, I have to recover the cost of metering equipment, billing, collection costs, and miscellaneous service. I may have my service team to provide a reliable supply to the electricity consumer. So, a satisfactory return on the total capital investment need to be done with the help of electricity tariff. The objective of electricity tariff will be, the objective of electricity tariff will be to recover all this cost. So, if you see the commonly used electricity tariff, there is a flat tariff. The flat tariff means the price per kilowatt hour of energy is a standard one. It's a one of the basic price. And the second tariff will be the slab tariff, the most commonly utilized for domestic tariff application. More you consume, energy cost is high. More you consume, the energy cost is high. The next tariff will be one part tariff. It is charged based on kilowatt hour consumption or kilovolt ampere hour consumption. Kilovolt ampere hour consumption. The next tariff will be the two part tariff. It is charged based on kWh and the maximum demand. Energy consumption along with the maximum demand. And finally, the three part tariff may be charged based on kilowatt hour, maximum demand, kilovolt ampere hour or power factor. Kilovolt ampere or power factor. Apart from that, there are various tariff available, including peak demand tariff. And to understand this tariff structure, nowadays there are a lot of dispute going on in the court as well as you have seen in the newspaper uh, because of the domestic tariff disputes. If you see in Tamil Nadu, first 1 to 100 units if you consume, the energy cost will be zero. First 1 to 100 units, the energy cost will be zero. If my energy consumption is up to 200 units, what will happen? The first 100 units will be free. The remaining 100 units, it will be charged 1 rupee 50 paise. If my consumption is less than 200, it will be charged based on this. The third tariff will be if my power consumption is up to 500 units. For the first 100 units, it is free. The second 100 to 200 unit is charged 2 rupees per unit. The third 201 to 500 units, it will be charged based on 3 rupees. For example, if my consumption more than 501 units, there will be a 4 slab. The first slab 1 to 100 units will be free. 101 to 200 unit is 3 rupees 50 paise. 201 to 500 it is 4 rupees 60 paise, and 501 and above it is 6.6 rupees. So in intelligent people in Tamil Nadu, the majority will make an attempt to get 2 or 3 supply for a house. This is the method to minimize the energy cost, but actually it needs to be controlled. And in India, Ministry of Power, they want to promote the smart meter. So they started a smart meter project in India. They plan to replace all the conventional energy meter in India with a smart meter. This is an objective of smart meter project in India. This started at 2018. And if the objective of this, they name it as Smart Meter National Program, SMNP. The objective of this SMNP program is to replace 25 crore conventional energy meter with smart meters across India by the year 2027. By the year 2027, almost all the energy meter in India will be replaced with the smart meter. This is an objective. This objective will reduce the aggregated technical loss below 10%. Reduce the aggregated technical loss below 10%. Some of the state, the aggregated technical losses will be around 25%. They want to minimize from 25% to 10%. Till date, in India, over 12.4 lakh smart meters have been installed, especially in the state of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Bihar, and Delhi. This is the scenario. So far in India, we have installed 12.4 lakh smart meters, and Pondicherry we install around 35,000 smart energy meter, 35,000 smart energy meter in Pondicherry. And the program, the smart meter program is expected to better billing efficiency by 75 to 100%. Presently, the average billing efficiency is around 75%. By the installation of smart meter, this billing efficiency can be raised from 75 to 100%, while increasing the revenues by improving the billing efficiency. The revenue increase for the utility or the state electricity board will be 1,38,100 crores. Imagine a case. Implementation of the smart meter in India will save 1,38,100 crore per year. And after implementing the smart meter, there are different electricity tariff for smart meters. Some of the tariffs are time of use tariff, time of use tariff. The second will be demand rate. The third will be dynamic or peak sensitive rate. Dynamic or peak sensitive rate. And this is the how the energy price varies with respect to day and time in UK. In the developed country, they start practicing the smart meter. They have a time of use tariff. If you see, this x-axis will be the time, y-axis will be the cost per megawatt hour. It will increase. It will increase with respect to time. With respect to time. And what is the smart grid? Smart grid monitors supply and demand of electricity. It try to match. It try to match the supply and demand, minimize the deviation. It permits to use more energy when it costs less. It use more energy when it costs less, and use less energy when it costs more. When the cost is high, we try to minimize the usage. When the cost is less, I try to use more energy. How this will be brought into home? This will be achieved with the help of smart meters. And smart metering. The top will be the conventional meter. Normally, it is called as a dump meter. This meter will measure the power consumption in the domestic, and there will be a manual reading. This manual reading will be fed into a computer, and it will be further processed to calculate the bill, and a database will be developed, and it will be built. This is the case in case of a dump meter. Whereas in a smart meter, my smart meter will communicate all the devices inside my house with the help of a home communication system, or we will call it as a home area network. My smart meter will communicate to the utility and my neighbor with an interface, and there will be a protocol. We use a gateway. We use a gateway for the security purpose. From the smart meter information, further process to prepare my bill, and other purpose. And there are four types of smart meter. The first developed smart meter will be a local automated meter reading. We will call it as a AMR. The second is remote automated meter reading. The meter will be assessed at a remote locations. The third is net meter. Wherever you go for a grid tie solar PV system, you have to go for a net meter. Finally, a network meter or advanced metering infrastructure. And what is this first AMR? It's a first generation smart meter. It uses one-way measurement and communication. It uses only one-way measurement, and this information will be communicated to the utility. And this meter will have a capability for automated monthly reading. Every month I can set on the 30th day I want to measure, it automatically measures this. And it will have a features one-way outage detection. For example, the power supply not reach the house, it will be detected and communicated to the utility, and it will have a damper protection. Somebody make an attempt to damper the meter, it will be also communicated to the utility, and it will have a load profiling feature. It will have a load profiling feature. How my daily load pattern will vary. All these things can be done with the help of a first generation smart meters. The second generation meter will be called as a AMR plus. It also have a one-way measurement and communication, and the meter capability is it's try to measure the daily power measurement as well as on-demand reads. Earlier, that will be monthly. Here, I can do it daily. Even at any instant, I can give a command and measure the power. And it also measure every hourly interval data. What is the 1 hour back? What is the energy consumption? This I can measure. And it also have a features to notify the outage of the power supply in the home. And the other feature of this meter is it have a capability to measure water consumption in the house, LPG consumption in the house. It's a meter, 1 meter to measure multiple commodity usage. And this automatic meter reading, the primary purpose of AMR technology is error-free customer billing. The biggest problem will be the error-free customer reading. It improves the metering accuracy and reduce the cost of meter reading. There will be a cost assessor, he has to move around to record the reading. All these things can be saved. And AMR typically comprise of static meters fitted with communication device. If you see all the static meter, it will have a communication device. It will be communicating this information to my utilities. And the AMR technology includes a handheld device, mobile network technology based on wired or wireless telephony, wire and wireless telephony. Normally use a radio frequency and power line transmission line for information exchange. And one of the technology used will be the touch technology. I can go and touch the meter. All the data from the meter will be exchanged to a handheld computer system. The device collects the reading from a meter by touching the meter with a probe in close proximity to a reading coil enclosed in the touchpad. These are the techniques used in AMR. And the next meter will be the net energy meter. If you go for a solar online grid connected solar PV system, morning your generation is more than your requirement. The power will be exchanged to the grid, to the neighboring house. And evening, the same power I can import for my domestic demand. I will have this meter will have a feature to measure both energy export as well as energy import. Presently, these meters are very popular, especially in Gujarat. Gujarat, a larger number of domestic building, they have gone for a net meter. And the third generation smart meter or the current technology for smart meter is the advanced metering infrastructure, AMI. This AMI have two-way measurement and communication. It will have a two-way measurement and communication. The consumer has to communicate to the utility has to communicate to the consumer. All this thing is possible in case of AMI. The AMI meter capability is it will have an integrated service switch. What is this integrated service switch? Uh, uh, Within the meter, there will be a breaker. For example, if a consumer default not paying the bill, the utility from their side itself they can trip the breaker. breaker to cut off the power supply. This is possible in AMI, and there will be a time-based rate. There will be a morning one rate, morning peak one rate, evening peak one rate. Off peak the rate will be different. This will be feasible only with the help of AMI meter, and remote metering program is possible. There is no need to take a reading at your doorstep, and it will have a future to measure the power qualities, voltage shock, swell, harmonics, and this meter have a home area network interface. All the home equipment, all the home appliances will be connected to my smart meter. My smart meter will have a control over all my home appliances with the help of a home area network. And a advanced metering infrastructure refers to system that measure, read and analyze energy consumption, system that measure, read and analyze energy consumption. An AMI system can be defined as an extension of AMR system. The AMI always communicate two ways and comprise of the whole range of metering device, software, communication media, and data management system. It not only a meter, a AMI not only a meter, it consists of metering device, a software, and a communication media, as well as data management system. And this is a typical architecture of hardware architecture of a AMI meter. The top layer will be the measurement layer, measurement and sensing layer. There will be a battery power supply for my meter. There will be a voltage sensing and current sensing. Further, it will be processed with the energy metering IC to convert this in terms of energy meter reading. There may be a stepper motor as well as display system. The motor may be used to trip the breaker, and the middle layer will be the battery switchover when the power supply fails, and there will be anti-dampering system. Somebody make a attempt to damper this, the time, including the time itself, note down what time the dampering is done, what time the dampering is done, and there is RTC, there is a real-time clock to charge this with respect to different tariff, and uh, this meter will have a breaker. The breaker will, when the consumer not paying it, remotely the breaker can be switched off. During the very heavy demand, the breaker will be switched off, and there will be accelerometer to find out the anti-dampering. All these features will be incorporated at the middle layer. The bottom layer, this is the communication layer. The meter has to communicate in the home area network. The meter has to communicate with the neighbor area network. The meter has to communicate to the wide area network, to the utility. So, a AMI system have a conventional meter along with the damper protection and service disconnect, and finally a communication system. All these things put together will be the hardware architecture of a AMI meter. And if you see the architecture of a hardware, there will be a signal acquisition. The signal will be further conditioned, further signal condition, and this signal will be converted into analog to digital. This signal will be get converted into analog to digital, and further it will be computed and communicated to the billing purpose. Communicated to the billing purpose. And this is a typical signal acquisition process. It may use a CT, PT, CT, PT to collect the data, collect the power consumption data. And this is the typical, the most simple power measurement will be done with the help of Call effect sensor. The Call effect sensor, I can measure the power consumed by a consumer. And for the analog to digital conversion, a simplified successive approximation ADCs are the commonly used ADC for energy meter purpose. And there are smart meters. If ICs are available, we can build our own energy meter by using it. Texas Instruments and other brand, they brought out smart meter IC. Using it, we can develop our own smart meters. And in the smart meters, these micro electromechanical systems or MEMS are used, especially for physical damper protection. At what time the meter made an attempt to damper, it will be noted and it will be communicated to the utility. It will be communicated to the for security purpose of the metering system. And this is a typical software architecture of the system. What is the software architecture of the system? The software architecture block will be scheduler. What is a scheduler? In the area, 1,000 meters, 1,000 smart meters will be there. To read the information from each meter, I have to schedule. At this meter need to be measured first. The second meter need to be measured second. So a scheduler will schedule all the 1,000 meters and collect the information one by one. And this will be read in a server. This will be read in a server, reading server. And this meter need to be accessed with the help of a security or a gateway. And after collecting this information, it need to be validated for the truthness, validate the truthness. And after that, all the data will be all the data will be stored in the central data repository for management and application. This management application, I have to have a metering. I have to send my team for service. I have to uh, manage my assets like a transformer, like a conductor. And finally, there will be a reporting format. I have to prepare a bill and it needs to be sent to a consumer. I have to send an alarm. For example, if a consumer not paid the bill, I may send a communication to the consumer who have not paid the bill, and it will have a import and export. For example, the consumer may import, the consumer may export power. All these things will be get recorded with the help of software architecture. With the help of software architecture. And this is a small summary of this. Initially, we use analog meter. We have gone for a first generation AMR meter, second generation AMR plus meter. Finally, the third generation AMR meter or AMI meter. These are latest smart meters. And what is the requirement for smart metering system? Uh, it will have a in-home display. For example, my demand increase or decrease, how I can notice. I should not go to my doorstep to watch my meter. So I need a special in-home display to watch what is happening inside my house. An advanced electricity meter, a central backend software system, especially in the utility to calculate my bill and manage the power supply system. And finally, a two-way communication system is required to communicate my energy consumption to utility, and utility will communicate to my house. And there is a difference between AMR and AMI. AMR typically measures reading on monthly basis, whereas the AMI on demand we will measure the energy consumption. And after a month, normally the leak detection or the meter dampering may come into notice after a month in case of AMR, whereas in case of AMI, if somebody make an attempt to damper the meter, it immediately communicates. And outage management, normally in a AMR, the outage management usage will be very limited, whereas in case of AMI, it immediately inform this house is not provided with the electric supply, somebody may take a steps to correct it. And the customer service, in case of AMR, it is reactive in nature. The customer will approach utility, whereas in case of AMI, it is proactive. The customer don't need to report. The utility will take its own steps to minimize, to rectify the problem on the customer side. And what are the communication protocol used in a smart meters? And currently, various kinds of communication and protocol types are used for smart metering. The example will be the power line carrier communication, as well as GPRS communication will become economic. So, GPRS communication is used in Denmark and Finland, in Italy. In European, they use a power line carrier communications for data transfer between meter and data concentrator. From the data concentrator, GPRS will be used to exchange the data from the data concentrator to the data management system. These type of communication protocols are used. And coming to the communication, smart meter communication, there will be three networks are utilized: home area network, neighbor area network, and wide area network. The home area network uh, will have a limited communication inside my house. My smart meter will communicate to my uh, home appliances. The neighbor area network, my generation, my solar generation, my demand will be shared with the neighbors, shared with the neighbors. And wide area network, all the data get connected will be transferred to the wide area network for further processing of bill. We will see in little bit detail. The home area network, in-home display will communicate with my smart meter. It will respond to price signal based on consumer entered preference. For example, I may set when the price of the energy rises more than 5 rupees per unit, my washing machine will be switched off automatically, or my water heater will be switched off automatically. The set point that limit utility or local control to within the consumer set limits. Control of loads without continuing customer involvement. Some of the emergency case, the utility can even trip the power supply to a home in the event their demand exceeds the set value. These are possible with the help of home area network. And home area network is connected to your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system and other power hungry appliances like your washing machines. Alternately, the home area network will work with the utility which could control your device, various appliances to cut power supply usage at a selected time. And neighbor area network, or some of the case they will call it as a local area network, that allows device in small area such as neighborhood to communicate with each other. What is my generation? What is my consumption? For example, all the smart meter in a neighbor area may communicate with each other with a router to form a interconnected mesh of devices. And the neighbor area network will also helpful to monitor what is my load on my transformer. For example, there are 100 house feeding by a transformer. What is the total load on the transformer? Or if the transformer load more than the rated capacity, it may lead to overload. This situation can be avoided with the interaction of neighbor area network. The power system support will be done with the help of neighbor area network. And the next device will be a data concentrator. There are 1,000 meters located in a area. All the 1,000 meter data will be get collected to the data concentrator. The data concentrator acts as a relay between smart meters and gateway. It manages the meter by automatically detecting them. For reading purpose, that smart data concentrator give instruction to one meter to another meter one by one, create and optimize repeating chains, and coordinate the bidirectional delivery of data and monitor the condition of meters. If the concentrator continuously check all the meters are in proper operation. This is how the data concentrator must develop. Data concentrator must develop, and once the data concentrator collect the data by using a GPRS technology, this information will be transferred to the utility. The utility will have a computer system where I have my meter data management. What is the role of meter data management? The meter data management will notify what are the outage. In this area, out of the 1000 consumer, 10 consumer not received the power. 10 consumer the power supply is an issue. So I have to prepare my outage management. Whom to send first? These plan I can work out with the help of meter data management, and it also do a demand response. Oh, how the demand increase, how the demand decrease. The customer information will be stored in the metadata management, and workforce management, deputing the service person can be done with the help of a metadata management, and the meter MDM also work as a data warehouse. And on the other side, for example, my demand is rises, I may ask my consumer to supply power through their smart cars. The residents can import power, export power. When the demand is less, they can consume more. When the demand is more, some of the consumer, they may have their local generation, they may export. All these things will be done with the help of the meter data management system. What is this meter management data system? This is the core of meter data management system is a database. It typically provides service as data acquisition, validation, adjustment, storage, and calculation. In order to provide refined information for customer service and system operation purpose, such as billing, demand forecasting, and demand response, the MDMS will play a vital role. MDMS will play a vital role. And meter data management system for smart meter also provide functions such as remote meter disconnection. For example, somebody not paid the bill, the MDMS will give a command to my concentrator. The data concentrator will trip a circuit breaker of a particular domestic power supply. And it also stores the power status, whether all the house receive the power or not. Supply restoration verification. This can be possible with the help of MDMS and on-demand reading of remote smart meter. For example, I want to study the evening demand by 7:30. Exactly 7:30, what is the meter reading? I can read it with the help of MDMS system. And coming to that data handle, earlier the conventional meter assume in a city I have a 1 million customer. In a city, very similar to Madras, 1 million customers. If I take monthly reading, I may process 12 million readings per month. For example, if I take a data on daily basis, for 1 million customers, I need to take 365 million data. Doing it manually, it is impossible. And the proposal for time-based, energy charges, I have to measure every 15 minutes what is the energy consumption. If you see, the data will be 35 billion data I have to collect. So the data collection and processing plays a vital role. This is achieved with the help of MDMS, Meter Database Management System. And Coming to this smart meter, after implementing the smart meter, the real-time pricing may come into picture. What is this real-time pricing? During off-peak hours, the generation cost will be low, so I may charge. During the peak hour, the generation cost will be high. So during mild peak, the generation cost will be different. So I may bring time of use tariff after implementing smart meter. I may bring time of use tariff after implementing the smart meters. And the smart meter will bring the real time pricing, will bring the real time pricing in the electricity. And this is a Indian Energy Exchange. It is a Indian Energy Exchange. If you see the energy price, the utility buy energy from the national owned power company and private power company. If you see the average energy cost, it continuously varying in nature. Day to day, the price is varying in nature. So the time-based pricing is essential, need to come in near future after the implementation of smart grid. So with the use of AMI, what are the possible, with the use of AMI, what are the possible pricing that we will see? The first will be demand response. If you see, the first objective will be I increase the energy cost during peak demand. So I the consumer try to minimize the peak demand. The demand response provide an opportunity for the consumer to play a significant role in the operation of electrical grid by reducing or shifting their electricity usage during peak period in response to time-based rates or other form of financial incentives. And there will be a dynamic pricing. There will be a dynamic pricing. The dynamic pricing lead to different electricity price at different times of a day and year to reflect time varying cost of supplying electricity. And there will be critical peak pricing. Normally, this will happen during peak summer and peak winter. When utilities observe an anticipated high wholesale market price or power system emergency condition. For example, in a rainy day, the line will trip, the transmission line will trip. I may not be able to supply the entire load. So I may have a critical peak pricing during that period and summer, and real time pricing also possible, and electricity price changes from hour to hour. Real time pricing let consumer adjust the electricity usage according to that. For example, during peak wind season, wind energy costs will become cheaper, and peak summer the hydro generation may be more, so energy cost will be cheaper. So these real time pricing is possible with the help of this tariff. And finally, there is a emergency demand response. Especially this will happen during festival season. The commercial load will be very high. During festival season, the commercial load will be very high. So with respect to this, the demand price will be rises and energy costs will be more. And the final will be the economic demand response. For example, there are companies they can operate whenever the energy cost is less. The caustic soda manufacturing, the manpower involvement will be very less. So what they do is, if my energy cost at night time will be low, I try to operate the plant. Very similar to that, I can charge my electric car during night time to minimize the electricity bill. And how this can be realized in a practical system? This will be automated meter management. A smart meter is another expansion of remote reading system that includes the possibility of performing technical measurements and functions and carry out customer-oriented service via the system. Some of the system we seen will be peak clipping, conservation, load building, valley filling, flexible load and load shifting. What is this? We will see. Peak clipping, a reduction of maximum demand for electric power from a electric utility. I set my demand. It will be very similar to a maximum demand controller. When my demand exceeds, it automatically trips the equipment at consumer, often achieved by direct control of customer load by signals directed to customer appliances. This is achieved with the help of home area network. And the peak clipping will be what I do is I try to use the load in some other time. I may shift the load from peak load period to off peak load, or it will improve the valley filling, improve the load factor of my power system equipment like transformer, generation. And another method to minimize will be energy efficiency and energy conservation. Energy efficiency simply means using less energy to perform the same task, like a BLDC fan, a LED tube light, energy efficient motor, a 5-star rated air conditioner. Energy conservation is an effort made to reduce the energy consumption of energy by use less of energy service. For example, when energy cost is high, I try to minimize the usage of my equipment, AC or a heater. And there are flexible loads. The flexible loads, this is a modification of load shape. I can program my load. All the home appliances I may prioritize. For example, kitchen appliances, the top priority. The next priority will be for my refrigerator. The next priority, third priority for my air conditioner. Fourth priority for my TV. The fifth priority for my washing machine. Sixth priority for my water heater. Based on the priority, when the load is exceeding the set value, it will switch off. The kitchen appliances will given a top priority to use. The least priority for my washing machine or my water heater. So I make the load safe flexible. I make the load safe flexible. This is one of the method to minimize the peak demand in the power system. And if you see, this how the solar power generation happening during summer and winter. This will be peak between morning 9 to evening 4. So what will happen in future? I try to utilize my energy here during this period. If I have a rooftop solar PV system, I try to utilize my equipment during this period. This can be possible with the help of home area network connected with my smart meters. And the rooftop solar PV system, the price is coming down. Future, and if you see the consumer tariff also increasing, there is a need to move over to the rooftop PV system for our house to minimize the energy cost. And in the rooftop solar PV system, if you see, our morning peak will be in the morning 6 to 9, evening peak evening 6 to 9. But our solar power generation between 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So these I have to store it in a battery. These I can store it in my car, electric car, in the batteries. So during peak hours, I release energy from my battery as well as from the electric car, from my electric car. And similarly, the wind energy, if you see during wind peak season, the energy cost of wind energy will come down drastically. This may become viable once the smart meters are installed. And to summarize, These various programs, what we have seen, these we integrate with the help of a demand side integration. Demand side integration is a set of measures to use load and local generation to support network operation and management and improve the quality of our supply. Local generation may be my rooftop solar PV system or a wind turbine I may use on my rooftop. These are local generation, or a battery or an electric car will be the local generation. My load will be controlled with respect to the demand. My load will be controlled with respect to my demand. Demand side integration and help defer investment in new infrastructure by reducing the system peak demand. The ultimate objective is the peak demand in the power supply system need to be removed. The peak demand is the major contributor for increasing energy costs, and it leads to a lot of problems like frequency deviation and voltage deviations. And load shifting is the movement of load between times of day. I may shift some of the load from peak hours to off peak hours. I try to avoid the use of washing machine between peak hours. I try to avoid the use of electric heater. I may use my electric heater before 6 o'clock in the morning. A load such as wet appliances that consume 1 kilowatt for 2 hours is shifted to off peak. And demand side management, the main purpose of valley filling, which is used to increase off peak demand. I have to fill the valley, which is to increase the off peak demand through storing energy. For example, a battery of plug-in electric vehicle or a thermal storage in electric water heater. The main difference between valley filling and load shifting is that valley filling increase new loads to off-peak time period, but load shifting only shift load to loads, so the total energy consumption is unchanged. Total load change is unchanged. And the next development will be the smart appliances. In the developed country, they bring a new button for my washing machine and home appliances like a smart grid button. What is this smart grid button? It plays an essential role in the smart grid by facilitating large scale residential demand response. For example, when my demand is more, if I use the smart grid button, it will automatically avoid the usage of the particular appliances during the time by making residential appliances more efficient and shifting their usage from peak to off peak period. Peak and average electricity usage will be cut. This is the role of a smart appliances. And lower peak loads, in addition to reducing long-term investment in expensive generation, will improve health and stability of the power grid and power supply system. And major home appliance manufacturer like Whirlpool, GE, Siemens, they come out with the support of smart grid in the developed countries. In the developed countries, they brought these appliances. Whirlpool announced that all its electronically controlled appliances will be smart energy compliant by 2015. It is only in the European country, not in India. These appliances will be able to respond to signals from the utility company to choose best time to operate based on real-time electricity pricing. And G also come with this refrigerator, microwave oven, dishwasher and washer and dryers with smart appliance. And other manufacturer also designing cool filter, water heater and home heating and air conditioning units for smart energy compliance. Uh, Here, for example, I have a 4 equipment 1 and 2, 3, 4. I may fix the priority 1, 2, 3, 4. So based on whenever the demand, the top priority equipment will be operated, the remaining will be off. This will be done with the help of a advanced metering infrastructure. And smart appliances, the device such as washing machine, electric car and water pump will work with the This is another idea. Uh, my electric supply will have a data information about the price of electricity. Based on that, I may on my washing machine, off my washing machine. For example, the price tag shows 5 rupees per unit, my washing machine will off. When the price tag shows 2.5 rupees per kilowatt hour, my washing machine will on, my electric car will charge. And same thing, if my energy cost is 5 rupees, my electric car will discharge and export power, which will act as a energy storage device to meet peak demand requirement. So it may start generating revenue for me in future. And the benefit of smart meter for customer is manage their own energy usage and cost, and new and improved customer service is possible, and it will help to stabilize the electricity rate and more accurate billing with the elimination of estimated rates and data entry errors, and no need to assess the customer property on doorstep, improved outage response time and information, and offer new programs and service, and new payment options are there. Presently, more you consume, more the energy cost. This may come down in near future after the implementation of smart meter. And benefit of utilities will be at least 15 minutes data for electric meter and hourly basis from gas and water we get. We may know the demand. We may know the load on my transformer, load on my electric conductors. And I will watch on the whether it is operating within the rated capacity. And outage and restoration notification for customer is easy. And for example, TNEV taking a line for outage through the smart meter, a communication will reach us the house. So we have to make our own effort. And voltage monitoring, such as check surge prior to the customer complaint, it will reach us the utility to take an actions, and it reduce the misread such as high bill and low bill. All these things will be overcome by the utilities, and utility may bring a new tariff rate. Presently, more you consume, more the energy charges. It needs to be come down in near future. Improved system planning for distribution is possible with the implementation of smart meter, and damper notification will helpful for the utility to correct immediately and reduce the labor cost. The cost assessor, the billing assessor, all these will be get eliminated, and remote disconnect and connect feasibility is there, and improve the safety for employees. Improve the safety for employees. These are the benefits of utility. And coming to that security issue, since our meters are connected to the communicated to the utility, if I am not consuming power in my house, it may indicate nobody is in the house. This may lead to security issues. Can determine if someone is in the home or not can be easily found with the help of a smart meters. So it may lead to exposure of cyber terrorism. Somebody is watching us. Somebody is watching us. This is a security issue. To overcome that, there are gateways are provided at every step. Every gateway, there will be a password lock. So unauthorized person will be minimized. So the security hand has been enhanced. And there are Google Power Meters are available to track my domestic energy demand. My smart meter will be communicate to my Google Power Meter. Using this Google Power Meter, I can remotely on my equipment, off my equipment. For example, I am on the travel. From the travel itself, I can switch on my water heater. Once I reach my home, I can take a hot water bath. All these things will be possible with the help of Google Power Meter along with the smart meter implementation. And to have a cost breakup, if you see the smart meter hardware, smart meter hardware. The endpoint hardware cost will be around 45%. The installation cost will be around 15%. And meter data management system, this cost another 11%. And project management, it costs nearly another 11%. And IT integration, there'll be another 9%. So this is a small cost breakup about the AMI installation, and AMI going to play a vital role. I can go for a embedded generation. I can go for my rooftop generation. I can go for storage. I may propose to go for a energy efficient equipment. All these things is possible with the help of AMI meter. And to summarize, the three pillars of smart grid will be the data management. I have to collect the data. It is achieved with the help of advanced metering infrastructure. And after that, I may go for a load management. The load management will be achieved by the demand response. I may have a variable tariff, time of use tariff. I can make the grid demand a flat. I can make a grid demand to a flat level. And finally, asset management. Asset management is partially possible with the help of this smart meter. So, to implement the smart grid, the smart meter plays a vital role. Smart meter will plays a vital role. The ultimate objective is make the dumb grid into a smart grid. Make the dumb grid into a smart grid. The smart meter is essential. And in India, these are the companies manufacturing smart meters. Larsen and Toubro, L&T manufacturing smart meter, HPL India Limited manufacturing smart meter, Schneider Electric manufacturing smart meter, Genesis Power Infrastructure, Itron India making smart meters, and uh, finally, a smart meter is the one of the biggest technology which is going to play a vital role in Indian power sector. This make the Indian utility a profitable one. Uh, Finally, I thank Mother Teresa Engineering College for giving me an opportunity to share my views. Thank you, participants, for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of our management, I thank the participants for their maintaining their patience, and I thank Dr. V. Saravanan for sharing his valuable time with us, and I thank once again all the participants and our resource person, Dr. V. Saravanan. Thank you.
Thank you.